Welcome to EMERJ TV with Reggie Smith. This podcast is about all things production for the people in front of the camera or behind the camera. Let's join Reggie right now for the discussion.
Still talking with my friend Jerome. So Jerome, between the two of us, you got to have over 100 years experience.
You know, that's scary.
Like
Isn't
a
that scary to
century.
think about, man? That's a trip. Right.
Because when you think about 100 years, like, well, that means, so you were working back when you were like chiseling the Flintstones,
Right.
chiseling the pictures in the granite.
Right.
But so tell me, like, I know you had this happen. Tell me about when you work with either the client or a director or somebody with who they think they know, and so they want to tell you
Right.
how to do.
Well, I mean, and I could have numerous examples, but names will be changed to protect the guilty. But it's interesting that you get, the thing for me as a freelancer is you hired me because you recognize some part of my expertise, but then you went out and watched, and I'd say now you watched a YouTube podcast or whatever it is. And so now you think that you know how to do the production, and you don't. And so that I know when occasions when I'm taking people to different TV stations or radio stations and taking them out to the set, like, this is where they do weather. You see that green screen? This is where they do the weather. And showing the enormity of what you think it is, it's not the reality.
Right.
And so it's really challenging to deal with. And it happens more, I would argue, all day. It happens more on the corporate side because many times people are given a title and a position and told to manage the production, but they may have never touched a camera. They may have never edited anything. But since they've been getting edited from up above, they feel like, okay, I got to manage this. It doesn't look like, why is that tape on the floor? Why do you this needs to be cleaner? It's that kind of thing that it's just, people just don't really understand. So if I hire you, if whatever company I'm working, let's say I'm working for a company, if I hire you, I'm putting my trust in your expertise. But sometimes it takes a while to build that up. It may take 2 or 3 projects. And I know you can talk about this. The first project is like, I don't know about this guy. Can he actually do it? And then you give him a finished product and it's like, okay, that was good. Then you're going to try him again. And then it becomes, I'm giving them everything.
Right.
Once you build up that trust, then it becomes a thing of, okay, I like this person. And that's the business side of being a freelancer, is developing those relationships and building up that trust so that you can deliver a high quality product. But then, you're engaging people. Yeah. And so that they can trust you, trust your work and your professionalism in what you do.
Well, we had one. We got hired. I don't remember. It was a corporate job. And we got hired by a company. Okay, the corporation hired another company to do it, who hired
you,
my business partner, and I. So they gave us all the equipment to go in and stuff, and so do you remember the 3/4 inch decks? You had 2 different types of 3/4 inch decks. You had the one that if it was in record, it would pass audio to the next one. Then you had the one that if it went out record, it stopped sending the audio and everything.
Right.
So we had 3 video decks, and that's what was happening. So because I was good at audio, I kind of learned how to cabling and stuff.
Work around.
So I said, okay, here's what I need to make this work, and we made it work. And sure enough, they didn't have any audio problems. If one tape machine went out of record, signal still went to the one your A/B rolling. So they had another problem, and they said, well, let the engineers fix it. And I'm like, well, what engineers? And they were talking about my business partner, and they was like, well, you're engineers. I said, no, I'm not. Say, well, you that's what you're saying now. It's like, no. And I thought, you know how to do something. So they just figure, oh, well,
They know
this
everything.
one person knows it all.
Right.
And no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you have to pick your specialty. Like they say, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. Well, kind of starting out. Like you, that's what I was, but it was because I learned to do it that then when I got to more directing, you know, I could come up with solutions. You know, and you meet people who, you always meet somebody, first of all, who knows something either different than you or more than you or whatever. And then instead of, well, that's okay, I have it handled.
Yeah.
Because see, what'll happen is then they'll leave you twisted in the wind. Like, oh, you got it handled, then handle it.
Well, but then they'll blame you. You forgot that part.
Well, that too.
Right.
But we had a client. I'll call the company Gord Car Company.
Okay.
And
okay.
And this guy, he was an engineer, and he first of all, he cut my budget. And then he said, well, here's how I want to do this. And I mean, he was telling us what to do. I was like, wait a minute, you're an engineer. You don't know this. So I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I said, I'm going to put this video together for you. And what we used to do is we would give them a rough cut. And then that was for any changes. And then once they give you the changes, when you do the final, it's like, okay, anything after that, I'm going to bill you.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to come up with, and I came with a high number. I was like, this guy, he's not going to pay this. So did it, came back, wanted to change. Said, okay, I told you. Did it, billed him, wanted to change again. He did it 5 times.
Wow.
So the amount that he cut my budget, I made more than that because he kept coming back. And then I finally said, you know what, I just gave them all the raw footage and said, here. And then they went to their in-house, I'll call it GCN.
Okay.
GCN took it. I don't think they ever finished it. And then I heard he died before he actually finished the video.
Oh, that's horrible.
So,
yeah.
But
yeah.
Then I had another guy. Now this guy, he was a director. He didn't want to. We were shooting at BASF. I can say that name. And it was a multicam, and we had to shoot on the first floor, multicam, then go up and set up on the 3rd floor. And because he didn't want to lose a generation, which he did anyway if he had to edit it.
Right.
He said he wanted to have all camera video. So we shot on the 1st floor, major setup. Major strike, go up to the 3rd floor. Major setup. Major teardown, come back down to the 1st floor to tape again.
Wow.
I thought,
but that's where you have to trust the people that you're hiring. Because, you know, there's a company that I love in Detroit that does large event things. And so I trust it's a woman that's one of the owners. Phenomenal folks. But we will come and say, okay, here's what we've got this event at one of the casinos in the ballroom, and here's what they've got the organization trained now to where we take the idea to them and say, what's the best way to do that? Which for a freelancer, yes, you know, so it's like, okay, here's what we want to do, and she'll come in and say, okay, this will work, this won't work. Here's the best way to do this to make sure that everything flows correctly, right? And that we get all of the elements that you need, you know, because then the larger the company, this is just my experience, the larger the company, the more levels of approval, which leads to that thing that you dealt with. Like, I don't like the way I smiled here. Can you fix that? Yeah, it's gonna cost you. But yeah, okay, we can do that. It's not gonna match. Why wouldn't it match? I got the same outfit. Like, no, it's not gonna match. So, you know, you run through all those kinds of things. So I guess that whole diatribe I just did was just to say that you had to trust the people. You have to trust the professionals, and we are the you know, in theory, you know, we are the professionals. You have to trust the professionals. So if you had been given the idea to weigh in on the production day, you could say, it makes more sense for us to do these 2 things down here now. You're going to lose something in the degradation, you know, you're going to degrade the quality in the edit anyway.
Right.
So let's be smart about this instead of let's just do this the way, kind of thing.
And he didn't make it easy. It was a really hard shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was wintertime, and so the people that worked in the truck, he didn't want to turn the heat on. It was wintertime. He didn't want to turn the heat on, so they were freezing in the truck. And I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And he's this, supposedly this genius or whatever. It's like, you know what? I don't have to work with geniuses. Just give me people that know what they're doing.
Right. And so he can go back and say, we saved $1.50 on heat.
Yeah, but then everybody's like frostbite, and it's like I lost a finger.
You got those gloves that just show the tips.
But so what was some of like I've done my favorite jobs to do. I really like doing music. I like multicam, directing music. The biggest one I did was Gospel Fest '98. I had 8 cameras.
Wow.
At Cobo Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and I thought, I had all these people working. I had non-union and union people working because Cobo Hall was union.
Yeah.
But I knew the steward and they were running out of time. So, and I thought, man, I said, if I mess this up, all of this work is for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But, it was like John P. Key and Karen Clark Sheard and, just people I seen their records and stuff. And they came and we did it. The truck was out of Chicago, Trio Video.
Mm-hmm. I remember Trio.
$3 million truck. Expandable. It was 30 days old. Got done with it. And the EIA said, this is one of the best productions I've been on. I thought, wow, I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. But as the director or producer, we can always say, this didn't go. We're going to be our toughest critics, of course.
Yeah.
Right. But the end product may be acceptable to the client. But I've always found that I can always say like, I wish I had Pookie on camera 4 wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. That kind of thing. That kind of thing. So yeah.
I have found that I am my hardest critic.
Mm-hmm.
I produced a series of videos. I used to work at the Word Network,
mm-hmm.
and I shot some videos, and I was sitting there and I was editing. I'm going, why didn't you do this? Why are you on this shot so long? Why are you doing this? And I finally had to do like this and edit like that.
Right.
And when I was laying them off,
mm-hmm.
because I thought, okay, I'm just shooting it down, and they had such a great response, and they aired here at 3:30 in the morning, but they aired in California at 12:30. They were getting calls, when are you going to produce some more videos and all this stuff? But Word Network is nonprofit, so like, no, that was it. That's all.
It. Right.
But yeah, I just like doing this podcast. I watched the first video and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, what's wrong with my voice?
Oh, right.
And I said, is this what people have had to listen to when they talk to me all these years?
Okay.
Uh-huh. But I think it's good to set a bar that's too high for you to reach.
Right. Well, but because that raises the level of expertise and all of that. So I love working on large projects because of as long as you get the right people in place.
Oh yeah.
But that's key. As long as you get the right people in place,
mm-hmm.
I can do something for the governor.
Mm-hmm.
If I have the right people in place, if the making the gumbo, if it's got all the right elements, we can make the best gumbo on the planet.
Right.
If you got 1 or 2 raggedy people on there, and you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
It can ruin a production. It can ruin something. But I also, at the same time, I love the large projects, but I also love smaller, intimate. I'm a storyteller at heart, so I love a good story.
Yeah.
And lit, and in a good location, and you can capture something that just resonates with people.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Large projects are great, but if you can make something look, and you can see people watch it and they're drawn in, and it's part production, it's part the story.
Yeah.
And so I'm fortunate enough to have been able to find those stories too. So I'm always looking I want the story,
mm-hmm.
And then if I got a good production team, we can get something that's really going to resonate with people and that they'll remember.
Yeah. That's what my education about lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said tell a story and you know, it visually draws them along with the story. And I learned that about lighting. My business partner, he was a film guy, and he hated video. Hated video lighting. It's like it's just all flat lit and stuff like that. We were doing videos for Gord, and we would do this layered lighting. We would creating shadows and things like that. We were edging some things with some color and stuff like that. And they would come back and they would say the same thing. That they would tell us, well, you exceeded my expectations. And I thought, good. But the videos looked really good. And even though I was still nitpicking me, I still liked watching them. You know, they were fun to watch, and we used them for demos, and we got, you know, bigger clients and things like that. But yeah, it's the crew.
Right.
We hired people. There's a company called, I'll say that name, Roadrunner Camera Cars.
Okay.
They were in Novi, somewhere out that way. And we hired those guys, and they did our lighting. We met them doing New York Carpet World commercials.
Oh, okay.
And New York Carpet World commercials were, you know, really kind of flat like the carpet. Sale ends Wednesday, sale ends Saturday. But they made our stuff look really good. Oh, somebody's texting me. But yeah, I mean, the better the crew, you know, the bigger the crew. Well, matter of fact, it doesn't matter. The better crew you have, it doesn't matter if it's a big job or a small job.
It doesn't matter. So I never underestimate the ability for a production lead to get the right people in the right seats in the bus.
Yeah.
Because then we can take that bus wherever we need to, as long as I got quality folks on the team.
We did a job. When Little Caesars, before Little Caesars. No, this is Domino's Pizza. We're at Domino's Farms, and this guy, we got hired. I was a camera operator, and the director, he was 3 cameras positioned us. He directed the talent, took them up, went over their lines, rehearsed them. And then he sat down and he said, okay, camera 1, this is your shot. Camera 2, this is your shot. Camera 3, this is your shot. And he went through. And at first I thought, well, how am I going to do this? I was like, and I thought, well, should I write down everybody's shots? And I thought, no, that's going to be too hard. Just wrote down my shots. He sat down. We rolled. He called. He was like, take 1, take 2. And I just wrote down. And I watched. And I was so impressed that he directed the talent. Then came back and called it. And then that's when I really wanted to become a multi-camera director, but not just technically, but even, you know, with people. You know, I've done things where I have on-camera talent, and I'm going to go really basic. If you go, I did a video for a church, and they were opening up a new department, and the pastor, he got up and he said this thing, and his wife was standing there. And I thought, boy, you know, she looks like a Stepford wife. She's just kind of standing there. And so I thought, okay, how can I fix this? And they got it done. And I said, you know, I said, I'm not convinced. That was the approach I took. I said, I'm not really convinced. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, you really haven't talked me into it. And that was how because I was trying to figure out how can I get more out of them. Who they aren't actors, so I can't say, well, put more feeling into it, do this or whatever. And I said, I just don't believe it. And I got it, and I said, and when you watch, I told his wife, I said, when you're watching, I said, you really have to kind of look at him and nod and look at the camera and stuff. I said, because if you don't look interested in what he's saying, even though you know what it is, right? People watching,
they're not going to be interested.
And man, it was a great. It turned out it was one of the most fun shoots. It was just a single camera. Man and his wife, but then we got it, and they loved it, loved the end production, loved the end product.
Right.
But, you know, you kind of have to be fast on your, even though you know a lot of things, you have to be fast on your feet. You know, you have to come up with solutions or way to get things done.
Right. Right. Yeah, you have to be a problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
So so the blessing and the curse of being really good at your job is, the blessing is that you will get more work. And many times, if it's whatever the name of that company is that you're not trying to say, that
Not Gord.
No. But and it goes back to something I said in the last episode, is that your world of production expands because they begin to trust you, and then they give you more and more. So the cursing in it is, okay, you're given something that maybe you're not. You talked a lot about, okay, what's your specialty? So it flows a little bit outside of your specialty.
Yeah.
But you're still going to do it, and you still want to meet your standard, and so you still have to find a way to maintain the relationship, deliver a quality product, and not disappoint. But then kind of get to that. So that's why I say it's not really a curse, but you understand. I think you understand what I'm saying, is that you have to kind of manage that thing, and because now, like the organization I work for now, they'll push everything to this woman that I'm talking about. I would give her all kinds of praise, but she, as a true freelancer, will never say, no, I can't do that. I'm never going to say that as a freelancer, but she will find, but she has enough people in her Rolodex, I know the term Rolodex is old now, but she has enough people that she knows, okay, I need to do this. I need to do animation. There's an idea for animation.
Right.
I can call on that person, but at the same time, trying to understanding the curse of the TV right now, of what people can, and YouTube even, is they see something over here and they're like, well, I want to do that. That animation worked well.
Right.
But as a director or somebody who's really trying to put something together, is being able to go to the client and say, well, what are you trying to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? It seems simple. Doesn't it?
Right.
But what is this you're trying to accomplish? Well, I saw this on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So, well, maybe there's a way we can do that in a better way. How can we advance it beyond what you saw?
Right.
And make it look better.
See, now that's a good line. I like that, because I've gotten that, well, or you get the one, well, it's just this right here.
Yeah. Right.
Well, see, if I come here and I bring a camera and just shoot this right here, you go,
what the heck is
wait a
that?
minute, what are you doing?
Right.
I did a job. I applied for a company. I sent a resume to a company Thursday. Sent the resume Thursday. Went through the weekend. Monday, got a reply saying, we got your resume. We like what we see. You reached out to us at a really good time. So Tuesday, my phone rang and I see the number, caller ID, see the number, the name of the company on my phone. I was like, well, why are they calling me? They called and said, we have a job tomorrow. I said, we hate to do this to you. Can you show up tomorrow? It's a multi-camera job at Lock Financial. And get there a certain amount of time. And I said, okay, here's the thing. I had surgery Wednesday. So, and I said, well, look, I said, just had surgery last week, but I can do the job. I said, but can't do any setup, no strikes. I said, don't worry, everything's all set up. We were here today and everything's set up, just show up. And I get there and there's 4 cameras and here's the setup. And people are just going, just busy. And I thought, well, somebody's going to come and tell me what this is. I was there half hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And said, okay, we're going to lunch. And I was like, okay, well, what is this? And nobody told me. And so I talked to the camera guys and I said, okay, I gave them their cameras. And they said, well, what's going to happen is they're going to come out because they had just opened another floor that they were making available to, workers and stuff like that. And said, well, everything's going to happen up here and the person's going to stand here. And I said, okay. And because I have my experience doing like live to tape and something's busy, I was like, okay, I just told the cameras, okay, I cross shoot with, 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 to kind of get whatever I need. Did the job. it was great. And I thought, man, I said, it's interesting that they asked me to do something. It was live, and it was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy, I was getting in the elevator, and one gentleman walked up. He said, well, how'd it go today? I said, it went pretty good. And he said, actually, I was monitoring you on the intercom. He said, you did a great job, and they were really pleased, and I actually got more work.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about it is, I got tossed in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, okay, tell me something. And they just said, these are your camera guys, camera positions are over there, and
have at it.
And you just do it. And so that's when you rely on, you start pulling stuff out of your, you know, your bag of tricks or your history or whatever, because unfortunately, you know, when you walk in and say, well, I can do this, they expect you to do it. They may not even trust you. You know, they didn't know me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was well, we're in a jam, and he just happened to send his resume, because I could have been anybody.
Yeah.
You know, multi-camera for me could have been, I have four
iPhones.
VHS.
I got 4 iPhones. 2 iPhones and whatever, yeah.
But it went great, and, you know, built a good relationship with them based on that, you know.
Yeah. But then that goes back to how we started this interview, talking about tools in the toolkit.
Mm-hmm.
You never know, okay, I've got a hammer over here and vice grips over here. You never know. You show up at a job, you don't know which one you're going to have to use, right? But at least you know how to use each other, right? And so that's the perfect example. So that it doesn't throw you, and that comes back to that adaptability piece. Right. Are you adaptable? Are you flexible? Can you get it done?
But one thing I've enjoyed, you know, knowing you, and we work together. When I first met you, I didn't try to come and tell you, this is what I've done in the past 10, 15, 20 years. I figured the best way is let him see what I can do.
Right.
And apparently,
it's worked out. It's worked out. That's right.
But Jerome, I tell you, I really appreciate you coming on. You know, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of our career, but I appreciate you being willing to come on and have a conversation with me. Mm-hmm. I would like to think that there's something that you and I have said that will help somebody who wants to be in production or, you know. But what I'll say to the viewers, first of all, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. And if you'd like to come and have a conversation, feel free. Reach out to me on EMERJ TV on Facebook, which is EMERJ space TV, or EMERJ.TV from any browser. You can leave a message. Matter of fact, my email address is EMERJ.TV@gmail.com. But look forward to reaching out to you all again. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching EMERJ TV with Reggie Smith. Join us next time for more discussions on all things production. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.